Hey everybody, would you spend $5 to make $2? Because that's what most Amazon sellers wind up doing with bad margins and even a worse ad strategy. Let's fix that, all right? My name's Fred McKinnon with Ecom Catalyst. Today, I'm gonna walk you through Amazon's revenue calculator. I'm gonna show you how to find your actual real true margin, and I'm gonna explain why if that is not at least 30% after your cost of goods sold, then your ad campaigns are probably going to sink your profits, and you may not even need to be really trying to scale that product on Amazon at all right? So let's look at this Amazon revenue calculator. Now you can log into this through Seller Central, or you can actually access it as a guest. I'm gonna give you a quick look at what that looks like. Okay, so I'm on the revenue calculator. We'll drop a link to the revenue calculator in the video description, all right? But basically, when you log into the revenue calculator, it says search Amazon product, or you can define a product if it's not there already. And then you can, enter an existing one in. So I'm gonna come over here to Amazon. Now, my Amazon.com usually looks a little different than most people's because of several reasons. One, I'm logged in as a business user. I think my particular login doesn't even have Prime. And I have lots of tools and extensions and plugins that give me additional data. But I was actually looking recently at Bluetooth scales to maybe replace one of the scales I'm using for my Fitbit. So this is just kind of because I've been looking at these different things. So let's just choose one of these, okay? I'm gonna choose, this is completely random. All right, so here it is, and I'm gonna copy the ASIN, which is like Amazon's catalog number for that. It always starts with B0 up in the URL, as you can see, all right? Now, over in the revenue calculator, we're gonna put that in and we're gonna hit search. And it's gonna find it, it's gonna give us some great information, okay? It's gonna tell us the sales rank, it's number 338 in all of health and household. There's 10 offers for it. It's selling for $23.99. Okay, and then it's going to go down a little bit further, and it's going to begin to break down all of the associated fees for selling this product on Amazon. And if you take a look at that, you can see here the selling price is $23.99, and then Amazon fees are $3.60. Now that is because of the commission. It's in home and kitchen, and Amazon's referral fee for home and kitchen is 15% of the item price. So 15% of $23.99 is $3.60. So that's how you get that amount there, okay? And then we can scroll down a little more and we can see that the storage cost for this particular item is 12 cents. It's probably a little bit heavier, and that's why. And the storage cost varies whether you're in January through September or if you're in what's called peak season, which is October to December. Look how much the storage costs increase from 12 cents to 36 cents. Now, when we get down here to the bottom, we get to what's called the inbound placement options. Now, this has to do with the fees that are associated with when you send product into Amazon. So for example, we've talked a lot about this on this channel. It used to be that you would send everything into Amazon, they would receive it like at one location, and then they would kind of spread it out all over their network, and it wouldn't cost you anymore. But a little while back, they said, we're not gonna eat that anymore. And so they said, you, the seller, have to distribute it to 5 different warehouses across the country, or else you're gonna have to pay something called an inventory placement fee, inbound placement fee. Okay, and if we're doing the minimum shipment split, which means that you're just gonna send it to one location and one location only, the fee varies by whether you're sending it to West, Central, or East. All right, if you're going to go on and send it to 5 different locations, and there's a lot of rules around that, you can find other videos here on our channel about how to do the 5 identical box optimized shipment split. So we'll actually show the thumbnail for that video right up here so that you can see that one, see what it looks like, and go back and watch that later. But let's just go with that. Let's say we're actually going to do 5 Amazon optimized shipment splits, Or maybe we're using Amazon AWD and we don't have to worry about that. So at this point, we have a selling price of $23.99. We have a referral fee, 15% of $3.60. And then we're going to stay in January, September and say there's 12 cents. So there's a total of $10.91 in fees. What did I forget? The one I forgot was right here in front of me, the fulfillment cost, $7.19. That is what it costs to fulfill that scale. If you are a seller and you're selling that, then that scale, due to the dimensions and the weight and the size, which all are listed right here in this window, it is considered the large standard class. And at 3.5 pounds, then it actually costs $7.19 to fulfill that. So when you take your commission, Amazon referral fee of $3.60, the $7.19 fulfillment cost here, and the storage cost of 12 cents, you have a total cost of $10.91 per unit when that item sells at $23.99. Now, that's leaving you with a net profit of $13.08 or 54.53%. That's pretty doggone good margin, right? But we forgot one thing. We have not yet entered COGS, C-O-G-S. It stands for cost of goods sold. Now let's just assume that scale cost, I don't know, I have no idea. Let's just say that scale cost $8 per unit. So I'm going to come down here in the calculator, cost of goods sold, I'm going to say $8. Now I have a total of $18.91 of costs in selling that on Amazon. $23.99 minus $3.60 minus $7.19 fulfillment fee minus 12 cents storage cost minus the cost of goods sold, $8, which would cost to manufacture that scale. I'm pretty sure it's going to be far, far less than that, but I'm just making that guess. So it leaves us with a net profit per order of $5.08 or 21.19%. Now let's say that scale really only costs $4. Now you're getting your margin up to 37.86%. Now that I've shown you this, I want to get back into what I feel like is the most important part of this video, and that is that margin. Earlier in the video, I said that if you are selling and your net margin after your cost of goods sold, or COGS as we like to say, C-O-G-S, an acronym for cost of goods sold, if it is under 30%, your margin is under 30%, it's going to be very difficult to sell. And the reason why is because across all categories, across all advertising campaigns, for the most part, the advertising cost of sales, those ads cost you around, on average, 30%. Okay, you see, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've got over $100 million in revenue, well over $10 million plus in ad spend that I've personally used and managed. I've seen it, and the hard truth is this: if your net margin after COGS isn't 30% or more, you're really gonna struggle. Ads on Amazon cost real money. On average, about 30% of your sales. And I talk to people and consult with people even this past week, and they were showing me their product. They were showing me what all the other competitors are selling that product for. And then they told me what their cost was, and they were in the teens, like below 30%, 20, 21%. And I had to be really honest with them and say, look, either you have to really raise your price, which is difficult because all your competitors are already cheaper than you, or you have to have a premium price, and somehow you have to justify that with some sort of value that's really kind of hard to communicate on Amazon if you don't have a really rock hard established brand already. Or you need to find a way to increase that price with value, like bundling something else with it. But I've been doing it, like I said, for 20 plus years, and I've seen that is the margin that you want. Now, if you like real strategies without the fluff, without the BS, hit subscribe right now. I'd love to have you follow on my channel. I share these actionable Amazon insights like this every week to help you grow profitably. All right, but I don't want you to just take my word about it. I'm going to give you some quick references. I've looked at the data. I've seen it firsthand. I know right now, today, over the last 30 days, across all the accounts we manage here at Ecom Catalyst, that our average ACOS is around 32%. Now you say ACOS, what is ACOS? ACOS, it stands for advertising cost of sales. And you take the amount of money that you've spent on ads and you divide it by the amount of sales that are attributed to the ads, not your total sales, but just the attributed sales. And that gives you your ACOS percentage. Now, I want your ACOS to be at or better than your margin so that you're actually making money even on the sales that you are attributing through your advertising. All right. Now, this 30% rule kind of averages out by different categories. Like overall health and household ACOS on average is around 27, 28%. Beauty and personal care, 26%. Groceries, closer to 30%. That's from the Techometrics 2024 benchmark report. eDesk tells us that the average ACOS across all sellers in 2024 and 2025 was 29.9%. Jungle Scout is a little more liberal with what they say. They say the typical ACOS range is 25 to 40%, even for experienced sellers. So there's one thing that's clear. You need 30% margin after COGS to really be able to make a dent with your ads, all right? We plugged in that sample product over on the revenue calculator with the scale, and you were able to see it firsthand. Now, if you're looking at selling on Amazon and you're pricing your product and you're thinking about running ads, I hope that you'll review this because we just don't want to see anyone bleeding money. You may ask the question, is it okay if I lose money on sales if it's going to help me organically rank better? Two things. Number one, yes, if your product is a consumable, replenishable product, like something that someone's going to have a high repeat purchase, you have a longer LTV, lifetime value. So let's say you're in the grocery business or you're selling coffee and they're going to get on Subscribe and Save and they're going to order it over and over, or supplements, then you can get away with that. But if you're selling a one and done thing like that scale, for example, I don't plan on buying more than one of those, or I don't plan on buying that scale every 3 months, then you need to be making money on it on day one, all right? So if you're in this position, check those things that I mentioned. Check your price, check your margin, put in your COGS, and see if you're at 30% or greater. If not, you want to look to see if there's room to raise your price to get the margin that you need, but raising your price to be way over the competition without really bringing value that justifies that price increase will also hurt you. Sometimes you have to divorce yourself from the emotional connection to the product and the brand that you love and accept the fact that you just don't have the margin. And no amount of good marketing is going to help you make money on that product. If you're doing it, here's a few quick optimization tips. All right, first, start with very low ad budgets and get your real ACOS data early. Improve your listings, improve the conversion rate to get that cost per sale better. Focus on higher margin products that actually give you room to advertise, because that advertising gets you impressions, which gives you clicks, click-through rate, which gets you more eyeballs on your listing, more conversions, and it gets the whole flywheel that we always talk about here at Ecom Catalyst and on this channel, the Amazon flywheel. Okay, so listen, recap. If your product after COGS is under 30% net margin, you're probably wasting your money on Amazon ads. Use the calculator. We link to it in the video description here. Use that calculator, run your numbers, and know if you can do this or at least break even. Finally, if you need help with this, check out the first link in the video description. It'll take you to ecomcatalyst.com. You can book a consult with us. If you're one of our retainer clients, we manage these ads for you. And now that you know how to check If your product can even sustain ads and you're doing it yourself, I'd love for you to watch one of my other videos, Amazon PPC Hacks, 5 ways to lower ACoS fast. I'll walk you through tactical ways to cut your ad spend and keep more profit. See you there, and thanks a lot.